What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash. Welcome back to the channel. Now, if you guys are wondering about the background, why it's dark, why it's so dark, it's actually not dark. At the time that I'm doing this video, it's 8:12 in the morning and it's raining here in Cali, so that's why it seems dark. But for today's Yu-Gi-Oh news video, it is all about the news, all about the new cards out of the next core set, Dimension Force. Plus, we also have some breaking news regarding some TCG Product Delays for 2022. So I'm going to go through those right now and just explain what's being pushed back. So we were supposed to have had the Grand Creators. It was supposed to have been released on the 14th, which is literally a month from today. But it will now be released January 28th. Rehearsal Chapter 1 was supposed to have been released on the 28th, but it got pushed back to February 25th. OTS 18, Tournament Pack 18 has been was supposed to have been on February 9th, but now released on February 23rd. Speed Duel GX Duel Academy box from the 25th of February to March 18th, and then the Albaz Structure Deck has been released, will now be released on April 8th, pushed back from March 11th. Apparently no reason has been provided, but it might have been, but there's a note here that says no reason has been provided, but ongoing shortages with global supply chain issues due to the pandemic and the ongoing difficulty to acquire cardboard for printing are the likely unspoken culprits. So, yeah, it's obviously because of the pandemic. Because of the pandemic, people are using boxes, or using cardboard. Boxes, of course, to make to move out of their homes and whatnot, move into new homes, which it doesn't surprise me. Honestly, I'm not really that surprised, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, those are what's being delayed. But as far as Dimension Force goes, you're wondering what's the new support? Well, we have new zombie support, new Symphonic Warrior support, and get this, heroic support. I'm actually, you know what? That will be the first thing that I'm going to talk about. So if you guys remember Nistro from the Zexal anime, yeah. At first he was playing a bouncer support card deck, which didn't even do anything, which does nothing. Then he decided to play heroics, and that was his go-to. So we have some new support for the heroics. So we have heroic. So first up, we have heroic challenger Knuckle Knife, which is a 1-star Earth Warrior with 600 attack and 200 defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. If you control a heroic monster except a level 1 monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal special summon, you can target a warrior monster you control, the level of that monster, or this card becomes the level of the other, but you cannot declare attacks for the rest of the turn except with the seized monster. So this card is basically a way to go into cards like Gondiva and Excalibur as well, which is pretty crazy. But the first effect, having a Cyber Dragon effect, it's good. It's good. I've talked about it multiple times on the channel. Any card, any monster that has the effect of Cyber Dragon, where it says special summon this card from your hand, not only is it too broken, it's just that damn good to go into your Xyz plays and what have you. Next up, we have Heroic Challenger Morning Star. which is a 4-star Earth Warrior with 1500 attack and 1300 defense, and all three of its effects are once per turn. If you control 2 or more warrior monsters, again, Cyber Dragon effect, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add 1 heroic spell or trap from your deck to your hand. If this card is in your grave, you can... If this card is in your grave and you have 500 life points or less, you can special summon this card, but its effects are negated. So not only is this a Cyber Dragon, but it's also Spell and Trap Rhoda, and it's a monster reborn. Or actually, I take that back. It's a living fossil. If you guys don't know living fossil, it's like monster reborn, but the effects of the monster summoned are negated. So that's pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. Now for the new Exceeds monsters that will be in the set, we have Heroic Champion. What the fuck? How are they pronounced? Clyome Solas, I believe is how it's pronounced. I probably butchered that. I probably butchered that, but there's a note here underneath the card that says that it's a legendary sword of light that appears throughout Celtic and Irish folklore, myth, and legend, and might be the basis for Excalibur. So Clyome Solas, I believe is how it's pronounced, is a rank 4 light warrior Exceeds with 2500 attack and 2000 defense, and requires 2 level 4 warrior monsters. So sort of generic, sort of. I don't know. You can only use the second and third effects of this card's name once per turn. First effect reads: monsters your opponent controls cannot target other monsters for attack. So this is basically this is kind of like a gravity bind of sorts. And by the way, that glass, shoutouts to Dr. Pepper. Not sponsored, just love Dr. Pepper. Anyway, so that effect is kind of like a gravity bind. It's kind of like a gravity bind of sorts. Second effect reads: you can pay life points so that you only have 500 left. At the start of the battle phase this turn, the attack of one face-up monster you control becomes doubled. That's not bad. You can even also target this card as well, which is pretty cool. When an attack is declared involving an opponent's monster, you can detach one material from this card to target a face-up monster your opponent controls. This card gains attack equal to that monster's until the end of the turn. So again, it's a gravity bind megamorph. It's Gravity Bind, Megamorph, Dark Mist. So, Gravity Bind obviously can't target monsters for attacks. One of your monsters' attack point, attack becomes double, Megamorph. And then a monster that your opponent controls will give this card attack equal to its own. That's basically Dark Mist, which is pretty cool. If I say so myself. Next up, we have Heroic Champion Gargrepper, I believe is how it's pronounced. Let's see what there are gloves/gauntlets used by Thor to allow him to wield Mjolnir, possibly due to the incredible short length of the hammer's handle. Okay, no, that's straightforward. It has everything to do with the Nordic gods, which is pretty cool. Truth be told, I'm actually tempted to build Heroics. If you guys want to see a deck profile of Heroics, let me know in the comments, because I'm kind of tempted to build it. I know that I've been tempting to build Toons for quite a while. So if that's something that you guys want to see me do a profile on, let me know in the comments. But yeah, I've been tempted to do this for a while. I know that I have a gimmick puppet deck ready to go. I know that my Dark World deck is done, but the problem is that I want, as crazy as it is for me to say it, I want my Dark World deck to be the first deck that I profile physically, where instead of me using Nexus, I can actually do it physically. But I don't think that will be possible, because there's a few cards in the deck that are like there are high rarity, and they're sort of expensive. So I'm gonna have to do it on Nexus, unfortunately. But you guys know I always post the deck list on Instagram. So, but that being said, again, Heroics Tunes. If you guys want to see those two decks be profiled on the channel, let me know in the comments. But Heroic Champion Gargrepier is a rank 1 Light Warrior Exceeds. Wait, rank 1? Wow. With 700 attack and 1800 defense, and acquires 2 level 1 warrior monsters. Second and third effects are once per turn. First effect reads: the first time each warrior monster you control will be destroyed with battle card effect. Each turn, it is not destroyed. So this acts as sort of like a dark resonator of sorts, where it can't be destroyed once per turn, which is pretty good, pretty good. Second effect reads: you can detach 2 materials from this card that target a level/rank 4 warrior monster in your grave. Special summon it, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to that monster's original attack. Monster Reborn, not too shabby. When an attack is declared involving an opponent's monster, you gain life points equal to half of its attack. So this acts as sort of like a half drain shield, no pun intended. So, where instead of just negating the attack and gaining the life points, you just gain the life points right off the bat, which is pretty cool. The only downside is that with a card like this, it would have to be you would have to steer clear of Ghost Bell. Yeah, of Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, where Ghost Bell focuses on the graveyard. So definitely steer clear of that one. And then last but not least, we have Heroic Envoy, which is a normal spell, of course, and both of its effects are once per turn. First effect reads: add 1 heroic monster from your deck to your hand. Second effect reads: if you have 500 life points or less, you can banish the card from your grave, target a heroic card in your grave, add it to your hand. So this acts as sort of like a... So not only is this a Rhoda, but it's also a monster reincarnation as well. So it's 2 cards in 1. That's pretty good. All in all, I'm kind of impressed with the new support, but at the same time, not too. I'm not like too impressed, because I know that a lot of the heroics are not once per turn. Funny enough, in fact, the term once per turn didn't come around like full time until like, what was it, Arc 5 or something like that. So yeah. But moving on, we do have some new zombie support. I know that that Brian from Crush Cards will love the new support. So big shouts to Crush Cards. But first up, we have Mad Murder. You're probably thinking that's bullshit. No, that's a real name. That is a real name. Mad Murder. What the fuck? I already know that they are not gonna. I already know. Once this set comes out in the TCG next year, they're gonna change it. I know it. Because the game is meant for kids, right? Anyway, it's a 2-star Dark Zombie tuner with 400 attack and 200 defense, and the second effect is a once per turn. This card's name becomes Plague Spreader Zombie while face up on the field or in the graveyard. So you basically have 2 Plague Spreaders in your deck, which is hilarious. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target a level 6 or higher monster you control, decrease its level by 2, and if you do special summon this card, but you cannot special summon monsters, while it is face up in the monster zone except for zombies. not too shabby. I mean, there are a few synchros here, a few new synchros. We got 1, 2, 3. 3 new synchros, actually. Which is pretty crazy. Next up, we have Al Ghul Mazara. I believe is how it's pronounced. Which is an 8-star Earth zombie with 2800 attack and 2300 defense, and both of its effects are once per turn. If a zombie monster or monsters you control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish the card from your hand or grave instead. So this acts as sort of like a Return of the Dragon Lords of sorts, which any card that has that effect, you know it's a good card. It's really good. Let's see here. If this card becomes banished from your hand or grave, you can special summon it in defense, then decrease its level by 1. So it's as if you never even banished it from your graveyard or something. It's as if you just kept it. You know. So that's actually pretty good. Again, you would have to deal with cards like possibly like, what is it, Ghost Bell for the most part, which is not too bad. Not too bad. Next up, we have Red Eyes Zombie Dragon Lord, which is a 10-star Dark Zombie Synchro with 2800 attack and 2400 defense, and requires a zombie tuner and at least 1 or more non-tuner monsters. So generic zombie support for the most part. During your opponent's turn, as a quick effect, and these are both once per turn, you can target a zombie monster in your grave, accept this card, special summon it. Monster Reborn? Yes please. If this card is in your grave, you can banish a zombie monster you control, special summon this card. So, again, this is basically double Reborn, which is just stupid. It's double Bell. It's literally double Monster Reborn, which is kind of broken. It's pretty broken, I would if I say so myself. But the only problem is that there are other cards as well that can be used in this deck, like Red Eyes Necro, I believe. I'm actually gonna look it up on Neuron, on Yu-Gi-Oh! Neuron. So big shout out to Konami, not sponsored, of course. Although sometimes I did wish I was sponsored by that. That'd be pretty cool. So let's see. There's actually one good one, actually. There's Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon, which is a 7-star Dark Zombie Synchro with 2400 attack and 2000 defense, so about the same as Red Eyes. And of course a tuner and a non-tuner, so that's like sort of generic. Gains 100 attack for each zombie. Gains 100 attack and defense for each zombie monster on the field, and in both graveyards. When another zombie monster is destroyed by battle, you can special summon a zombie from either graveyard to your field. So there are so this card in general, Necro Dragon, is a lot more better than Dragon Lord, because even though this is a double Reborn, the biggest problem is the fact that this card right here, Dragon Lord, is more so a one of, whereas opposed to Necro Dragon, it's actually, I've seen decks put in what I think what two into their deck. So I would definitely say I would say this is more so of a one of, because you never know. You never know. Plus, if you want to recycle it back to your extra deck, you will need to have run cards like potentially Pot of Avarice would be a card that you could use. So, but next up we have Corpse Dragon Corpse Dragon Lord Felgrand. I believe is the name. Which is actually kind of a funny one, because it's basically Dragon Felgrand, actually. Which is a level 8 light zombie synchro with 2000 attack and defense, and requires a zombie tuner and a non-tuner, or more. Both of its effects are once per turn. If this card is special summon, you can target a monster your opponent controls, or in the grave, banish it. Call by. It's basically call by, which is kind of funny. If a monster or monsters is special summon from the grave, while this monster face up on the field, you can target a face up monster on the field, except this card negates effects until the end of the turn. So not only is this a call by the grave, excuse me, but it's more so of a, but it's also a infinite impermanence as well, where it is just too broken. If you have cards like that, you know it's going to be good. But again, the only downside is that this is more so of a one of. I know that I know that I said that with Red Eyes, but this is another one that's a one of, because you can just easily recycle it back with cards like Pot of Avarice and and also Pot of Acquisitiveness, where if it's banished, you can just recycle it back into your extra deck and you're pretty much good to go. Next up, we have Immortal Dragon, which is a 6-star Dark Zombie Synchro Tuner. Yes, Synchro Tuner. It's very rare you see that. Very rare. With 500 attack and 2400 defense, and requires a tuner and a non-tuner. You can only use... So, let's see here. Both of its effects are once per turn. During your main phase, you can send a zombie. You can send a zombie monster from your deck to the grave, and if you do, this card's level becomes the difference between its original level and the sent monsters. So it's basically level. It's basically having a what's called a level identity crisis, if you will. That's how I see it. When your zombie monster is destroyed by battle while this card is in your grave, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. How do you bypass the banishing effect? Use it as Exceeds material. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. You use it as Exceeds material, and when you detach it, it goes to the graveyard. Which is nutty. Stupid nutty. Next up, we have Zombie Reborn. And, basically, it's Monster Reborn. This one actually has 2 effects, which is kind of crazy. Target a zombie monster in either graveyard, banish 1 monster with the same name from your deck or extra deck to the grave, and if you do, special summon the targeted monster. Yeah, so it's like Monster Reborn. If this card is in your grave, you can shuffle one of your banished zombie monsters into the deck, and if you do, set this card to your field, but banish it when it leaves the field. Yeah, you're going to be running at least 3 of these. And also, too, you can even also run Ciphering Lord Omega, which can send your banished cards back into your graveyard. So that way you can actually continue to use its effect over and over again. So you would probably need at least two copies of this. And that's it. I know that I said 3, but it dawned on me that you can actually use Psi Omega, which is pretty cool. And then last but not least, we have Haunted Zombie for the last of the new zombie support. Both of its effects are once per turn, and actually they're hard once per turns. You banish 1 zombie monster that has a level from either graveyard, and if you do, special summon 2 haunted tokens. Which are... Oh, okay. Okay, they're dark zombies with 0 attack and defense with the same level as that monster. If this card is in your grave, you can shuffle one of your banished zombie monsters into the deck. And if you do set this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. Again, Ciphering Lord Omega is like the big card that you need to take your banished cards and place them back into your graveyard so you can use their effects again, which is pretty cool. Now for the new Symphonic Warrior support. I never thought we would ever see the light of day. I never thought that we would ever get Symphonic Warrior support, because Symphonic Warriors didn't really do a whole lot when they were released. I think what was it, Cross Souls, if I remember correctly? If I remember correctly, I believe it was Cross Souls. It might have been. It might have been a later set, but I'm not so sure. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We only have 4 new cards for the support, which is kind of sad. Anyway, first up we have Symphonic Warrior Guitarist, which is a 3-star wind machine pendulum tuner with 1100 attack and 500 defense, and its pendulum scale is 0. Its pendulum effect reads that you can only use the pendulum effect once per turn. You can target one other Symphonic Warrior card you control, return that card and this card to your hand. Double Compulse. Not bad. Not bad. I mean, it's double Compulse. It's pretty cool. The monster effect, so for its monster effect, both of its effects are once per turn. If Amplifier is in your field zone, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal special summon, you can target a card in your pendulum zone or return it to the hand. So 3 compulsory evacuation device effects and a Cyber Dragon effect. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised. Yeah. Triple Compulse, Cyber Dragon. Not much else to say. Next up we have Symphonic Warrior DJs. And it's literally spelled DEEJAYS. DJs. That's actually kind of funny. Which is a 4-star wind machine pendulum with 1200 attack and defense, and its pendulum skill is 8. And for the pendulum effect, the second effect is a once per turn. First effect reads, once per turn you can change one of your face down defense position Symphonic Warriors to face up defense. So it's a reverse Book of Moon, where instead of the card being set face down, it gets flipped face up in defense. So this could work with cards like Morphing Jar and Morphing Jar number 2, where once it gets flipped up, you're pretty much just golden. You're pretty much just golden there, which is pretty crazy. If a Symphonic Warrior monster's effect is activated, you can special summon this card from your pendulum zone. Okay. I'm not going to complain about that, honestly. Now, the monster effect is a once per turn. If this card is normal special summon, you can special summon a Symphonic Warrior monster from your deck and face down defense, except this card. If you control a Symph Amplifier in your field zone, you can instead special summon one Symphonic Warrior monster from your deck, except this card, but its effects are negated. So you can either summon it face down or summon it face up, but with the effects negated. So that's actually not too bad. Not too bad. It would by having both this card and also Guitarist, it would help you set up your plays for this one, Symphonic Warrior Rocks, where it's a 7-star wind machine synchro pendulum with 2500 attack and 1500 defense, and its pendulum skill is 10, which is pretty crazy. The first pendulum effect is a once per turn. During the standby phase, you can add a pendulum monster from your face-up extra deck to your hand. So it's kind of like Rhoda, but for the extra deck. Because the pendulums go face up into the extra deck when they would normally be sent to the graveyard, it's basically extra deck Rhoda, so to speak, which is kind of crazy. Second effect reads, when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can destroy that monster and this card. So this basically acts as a double trap hole during the battle phase, which is pretty cool. Now, its monster effect, the first 2 are once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can add a pendulum monster from your face extract to your hand. Again, it's basically the same thing as the pendulum effect anyway. Second effect reads: if you control Symph Amplifier in your field zone, you can destroy one card on the field. So yeah, I mean, Trap Hole, MST, you're pretty much good to go on that one. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect in the monster zone, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. I mean, with that effect, it's not bad, but you're gonna have to deal with the fact that it counts as a back row, so you'll have to try and maneuver your way around around your opponent's back row by using your own to what's called force bait. What that means is if your opponent has, like, say 4 cards in their back row and they're all really good, you need to bait them out by activating a card that you don't even care for. Like, say I'll say Twin Twister. You flip up the Twin. You flip up the Twin Twister. Your opponent will have no choice but to negate that card with a card like Solemn Warning. So that's one bait. You keep doing it until the back row is done. Or you can also use Harpy's Feather Duster to completely wipe out their back row, in which case you wouldn't have to worry until next turn, of course, which is not too bad of a play. Next up, we have Dress Rehearsal, which is a continuous spell, and the second and third effects are once per turn. First effect reads: each time an effect of a Symphonic Warrior card is activated, place 3 Symphonic counters. Place 1 Symphonic counter on this card when that effect resolves. You can remove 3 counters from your field, add a Symphonic Warrior monster from your deck to your hand. If you normally special summon a Symphonic Warrior monster or monsters, you can add 1 Symp Amplifier from your deck to your hand. So this acts as like a terraform, which is pretty cool. General Probe. There's a note here that says General Probe is roughly the Dutch/German word for a Dress Rehearsal, or at least it's become as such in Japanese, which is pretty cool. That's actually pretty cool. But overall, I mean, the new Symphonic Warriors War is kind of okay. I wasn't even expecting to see any new Symphonic support, but it is what it is. But that brings me to the question of the day: what archetype do you guys want to see get support, get new support in Dimension Force? And let me know in the comments below. And that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel, you guys want more Yu-Gi-Oh news videos in the future, which get posted every Tuesday, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. All the links will be in the description below. And if you guys have any fan mail you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, my address will also be in the description as well. Don't forget, TCG bandlist predictions will be taking place in tomorrow's video, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And also this Saturday, I do have a deck profile. I'm just not sure which one it'll be. I do have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have like, what, 5 deck ideas. So it'll be one of those this coming Saturday. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.